Call this meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, there was just one addition to the agenda. Resolution number 2024-10, resolution appointing election judges for the presidential primary. If nothing else, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Open forum, if anybody would like to come up and speak or say something.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to thank the citizens of Melrose for the opportunity of providing public service for them for the last 40 years. I will be retiring on February 29th of this year. Also, I'd like to thank the city councils in the past. They've been very good with giving us equipment to work with. We wouldn't be able to provide the services without good, updated equipment. And I think when we came in and justified it, we always were able to give what we needed. I hope that can continue. Because in this city, we do a lot more than just services. We do construction projects, build trails and things, and the equipment does pay off. Again, over the years, I had worked with 4 administrators, 3 public works directors, 2 supervisors, and many, many good employees, co-workers. Some of the projects that I've seen over the years, I guess before I get to that, July 18th of '83, I started as a power plant operator, dispatcher. We dispatched for the police department, the fire department, and the ambulance department. Back then, some of us, people my age, remember the whistle. 7 o'clock in the morning, we blew a whistle, noon and 1 o'clock, and at 5:30, and then at 10 o'clock curfew. And it was all done by hand. If we had to call out the city fire department, we would stop the whistle, turn it on and off, it would be up and down to get the local people to the fire hall. A lot has changed. And some of the projects, back to the generation, we used to have to generate the load for the town. We have 4 generators at the power plant, and there was a lightning storm. We would have to go and start the motors and get online. We would isolate from our feed lines that came in, so we would be able to keep Melrose in power. Back then, we were running about 7 megawatts maximum, which we could handle with all the motors. Right now, I think the megawatts are running over 20. That's how much the town grew. And some of the projects that have happened, I mean, this is 40 years, but if you look back, there's been a lot of expansion in our housing. Back in 1983, Highlands 1 was developed. 1987, Highlands 2. 1987, Meadowlark Acres, and with Meadowlark Acres, we took a field and we built a park in that addition. We basically built it from scratch. And that was a lot of staff that was involved with that. 1994, Highlands 3 came in. 1994, 96, St. Andrews. And back in those days, in the 90s, it was nothing to see 20 houses a year go up. It was just, I know they were in the 20s. Things have slowed down, with the cost nowadays, but 1997, I said Highlands 4, then Mid-States, River Heights was in 1998, 99, 2003, Sugar Creek Plat 2, that's still a bit north of the Highlands. 2004 and 2005, the city went out and built the industrial park. 2006, Daylight Court was developed. 2008, Tri-Quality, that's 5th Avenue Northwest up in Mid-State. 2023, now Railroad West is being constructed. Also, over the years, both major bridges have been constructed. The one on 5th Avenue and one on I-94. So we have a lot of businesses like Jenny O built a new plant, and pro-light expanded. We've seen a lot of activity, so Melrose is really growing. And I think it'll continue to do that, but, you know, it's the good leadership and the good quality of workers we have. So I just wanted to, you know, say that I appreciate the citizens that we work for. And I know sometimes you can't please everybody, but we always did the best we could. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gary, there's been a lot of things that have happened over the years, and also with what our street departments have done over the years, and the equipment really has changed. I still remember that old International dump truck we had that was like a half a box compared to what you have now. Even the tractors we had, it's a big difference. And then it all comes from all you supervisors over the years that have taken the initiative and really grew everything. And again, it's gonna be sad to see you go, but really hope you enjoy that retirement. You deserve it.
I'm gonna go when I can enjoy it.
You bet. Is there anybody else that would want to talk at the open forum? I actually wanted to visit just, I've been getting a few phone calls and people feelings about things that the state of Minnesota has been doing, for example, with the flag change, and people feel that there's stuff local can do, and I don't know if that's possible, but I'm hoping maybe in March. I do want to hear from people in the community, their feelings. Is it something where this, you know, there's other counties, other cities that are putting resolutions together that they're not for this change? People said the community, the whole state should be involved with picking new seals, new flags. I sort of feel the same way. I personally have felt that something was ramrodded through and it shouldn't, and people should speak their voice. So I guess I wouldn't mind hearing from citizens in Melrose how they feel about how this has gone. Other counties have sent resolutions to the state, you know, saying their dissatisfaction with the way things have changed, like flags or your state seals. So I guess I wouldn't mind having something like that put on the agenda. If people would like to email, phone call, you can get all of our numbers online. So feel free to let us know. I've had a lot more on this issue than I have with many other things in the past. So I'd like to hear what the citizens of Melrose feel about something like that. So that is my opinion on open forum. Unless there's anybody else, we're in the consent agenda, approval of the minutes, approval of the bills, purchase orders, approval of the investments. There's a couple resolutions here. Resolution number 2024-5, a resolution donation from Mark and Mary Monroe in amount of $100 towards the Melrose Fire Department. Resolution number 2024-6, $500 from Dwight and Sharon Anderson towards the Melrose Fire Department. Resolution number 2024-7, a donation of $96.97 from Lindsay Chmielewski towards the Park and Recreation Department for trees in our community. And then there's a resolution 2024-8, a donation of $2,000 from the Greenwell Lions towards the Melrose Ambulance Department. I'd first like to say thank you very much to these people and organizations for donating in our community. It's very meaningful and I really appreciate it. Then there is a RDB project invoice from Stearns County. And also there's a resolution number 2024-10, resolution appointing election judges for the presidential primary. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Reports. Well, first off, we're gonna throw our new person for the streets department under the bus. Andrew, would you like to come up and just give us a little bit about yourself? And just help us pronounce your last name correctly. I've asked it a couple times, so I just wanna do it right. And again, Andrew, we wanna welcome you to our community. Looking forward to working with you, and I'm excited for you to be here.
Thank you. Andrew Rustling. I pronounce it. Worked many years for the Sauk Center Public Works. Graduated from Sauk Center, and I'm over here. Hopefully I can fill Gary's shoes, but I'm looking forward to working for you guys. So. Good meeting all you guys.
You too.
Glad you're here.
Thanks. Welcome aboard.
All right, on to Police Department monthly reports. Chief Mouse.
Good evening. December 23 are statistics in the traffic division. 7 citations issued, 43 verbal warnings, 2 written warnings. 2023, we had 187 calls and requests for service. Last year was 193. We ended on ICR 2836, and last year was 3394. So we were down 531 calls overall from last year. Happened when you're that short-staffed. Whether we missed things or didn't have proactivity, that's all up in the air to figure out how or why. But anyway. 6 agency assist calls, those are about a fourth of what we usually run in a month, so maybe nobody needed us, and that's why our numbers are down, who knows, but it's good to see that maybe our assistance wasn't needed. We can keep on working with the other departments as best we can. An area that we've seen actually a good service from the public is in our snowfalls. We haven't had as many cars on the streets after snowfalls that the street crew has had to plow around, those sorts of things that we've had in the past. So it's good to see that people are either getting them off the street in a timely fashion or not having them out there at all. So if we can continue that through the winter, that'd be much appreciated for ourselves as well as for the street crew. And then we don't have piles of snow and vehicles mounting up as white big piles themselves, being snow covered. So. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. City Attorney report, Scott? Have nothing to report on. That's good, saving the taxpayers some money. Thank you, Scott. All right, Community Development Director report, Sheila?
Good evening. We're looking forward to a work session with the City Council in early February. We have some important items to discuss at a greater length than a meeting like this allows, including special assessment costs on single-family residential lots, a potential commercial redevelopment project, a possible easement area purchase from the state of Minnesota, and an inquiry we have received about our wellhead protection area. The Planning and Zoning Commission will be holding a public hearing on a rezoning request, which will be followed by a conditional use permit. It's another request for a billboard, this time on the west side. There is one currently being constructed on the east side right now. MATA at its January meeting welcomed Jose Morales as a new member. He will now also be serving on the Commercial Rehab Deferred Loan Program Subcommittee of MATA. So we are grateful for his service. The comprehensive plan update process is continuing. The next meeting of the steering committee has been set, and there is a meeting for our Hispanic community on Saturday, February 10th at Martinez Meats. The public engagement tools, including the survey and the mapping feature, are going to be closing soon, so we want to encourage everyone to take those surveys before they close. We've received some really interesting preliminary results, and we look forward to sharing those results after the surveys are completely closed. And despite being winter, there's still plenty of construction around town. Quick Trip has a scheduled opening date of February 29th. Riverside Flats next door plans to have tours coming up here late March and April with move-in in early summer. And Wobegon Crossings is the name of the apartment building now on the west side. And they plan to open 2/3 of their units by September. They would like to get ahead so that families can move into the community before the school year starts. And then the final 1/3 of their building will be done by December. That is their construction plan. Otherwise, we're looking forward to even more projects in '24.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. City Engineer report?
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. Working diligently on our Main Street plans here. I have a little bit of good news to share with the council on our biggest issue out there. We were able to make the sanitary sewer about 2 feet deeper across the length of the project. So, I mean, we have flat surfaces in town, and we know there's plenty of them. We should hopefully be able to improve those dramatically for those residents. So, the best news I could provide is once we figured that out, basically the sewer was laid steeper than it needed to be for the first 2 blocks from the east. So we can lay it back to minimum grade where it should be and gain about 2 feet. So fantastic news for those residents. It's going to mean there's more incentive for residents to dig up their private services and connect to them because there's something to actually fix now. There's a gain to be made. So we're going to want to relay that to as many people in town as we can. Open house on Monday evening starting at 5 to 7. Stop on in if you're on the project or just curious about the project. No formal presentation. We're just going to have maps set up, talk to people as they come in. We'll be in a non-threatening environment so people come and say their piece and learn more about the project. very positive feedback we've heard so far from people. They're excited that it's gonna happen. They know it's overdue, they know it's time. So, again, all good things as far as that goes, so. That's my main push right now, so questions for me?
I did have one citizen that can't make the meeting, if you can answer this.
Sure.
Are you replacing the fire hydrants along the way? Because the lady said her fire hydrant was from the 50s.
I would say all except one. I think there's one that's been replaced, but the rest will be, yes.
Okay.
That's the plan.
All right,
Usually in the same spot.
all right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. City Administrator report.
So Stephanie Perez will begin, she has begun her duties as a police department administrative assistant. She began that on January 16th. She will split her time between the police department and the reception desk until a full-time receptionist building permit tech is hired. We have posted the position and those applications are due the 29th of January. Applications for the police officer position closed on Friday, January 12th, and we had interviews today. There's not been any determinations made at this time. I just want to remind you that we, as Sheila had stated, just to reemphasize that we do have that work session on February 6th at 5:30. Also, just to tag along with what Dave talked about for the open house on January 22nd from 5 to 7. A letter was sent out to the residents in that area and was included as an attachment in your packet. One other thing I did want to mention, two other things actually. So the other thing, Scott might have not had to deal with this, but we have the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust lawyer who is dealing with the non-payment of the sewer service at Rose Park. And we sent them a whole bunch of information in May. Now their attorney is asking for a whole bunch of additional information, very similar to what we sent them in May. So Ryan and I hope to meet with that attorney via a conference call to just find out why they are asking for essentially the same information that they asked for before. So that one is ongoing. I don't think we have a court date or anything. As you guys know, whenever we're dealing with these things, it takes very long. We all know that. So patience in this case is what we're going to have until we can come to some sort of resolution. So just be aware of that. I did also just want to make you aware of a policy that's in place. We have a cell phone stipend policy, but that was something that wasn't applied to all employees. And so as a matter of day-to-day operations, we would just like to apply that to everyone. So depending on what their responsibilities are in their job description, the range is anywhere from 25 to 50 a month. A majority of our employees already have that. This would simply be adding some additional employees that actually probably use their cell phones more than others, and that's where we're at. So right now, that's all I have. Later on in the agenda, certainly I have some other things as well. Thank you.
All right. We are on the action items, and our action items are with, A is liquor license renewal application. So one is the intoxicating liquor on sale, off sale, and Sunday on sale renewal. Number two is the club and Sunday on sale renewal. Three is the 3-2 malt liquor off sale renewal. And number four is the wine license renewal. And with all this, the council is to take action on the liquor license renewal applications. Due to the council meeting schedule and the insurance renewal process, all necessary documentation will not be available at the time of this meeting. Therefore, the council approves should be contingent on the city receiving the necessary documents. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, transport nurse hire.
Yep, so ambulance coordinator Gina Eggert is requesting approval to be given to the appointment of Allison Hiltner as a transport nurse to the ambulance department effective March 1st, 2024. Starting at the start step on the wage schedule, contingent upon a successful background check, pre-employment physical, and drug test. Again, this is, part of this is, as you guys know, because we are doing part-time ALS, she would be able to serve in that capacity for ALS runs. So I'm recommending that the council give consideration to the approval of Ms. Hiltner as a transport nurse.
Help me out with this, so she's not an employed employee of the ambulance department. She will be called as needed type thing, or is she,
She will be on the roster.
okay,
So then, I don't know if she'll be scheduled on a regular basis, because it really is only, my understanding is it's in the cases when we have ALS.
right.
So
Right,
it's gonna be, she'll be on the roster, so she'll be treated like all the other employees, which means, they are employees.
yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, employees, but, it
not
doesn't specify like how, it's kind of, because you don't know when she's needed.
correct.
That's the hard part.
It is, that is correct.
But basically, our insurance is gonna cover her and all that
Yeah,
stuff. So in a
right.
sense,
Yep.
she is an employee, but
She is,
just
yep.
like part-time
Right,
employee almost.
right, basically part-time.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do. I was just kinda curious how it's gonna work, because it's kind of, if you only have one person to go to, if you need that transport nurse. Or we have,
We'll have
We'll have
one more, so we'll have four
four total.
altogether.
Okay, all right.
Yep,
all right. Sounds
we're
good.
building up the roster for
Good.
that very purpose, yep.
All
All
right.
right,
Can I get a motion to approve the hire as of 3/1/2024?
so move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Opposed, motion carried. Then there's a paramedic hire.
So, very similar to the transport nurse, we're requesting approval to be given to the appointment of Nick Guzik as a paramedic to the ambulance department, starting at the start step on the wage scale. Of course, contingent upon a successful background check. He is a current EMT for the Melrose Ambulance Department, and he is now a full-time, he is also a paramedic. So we're very, just as we are with Allison, very excited to add Nick to the roster, and that will give us 4 ALS folks on our roster.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And our part-time ALS has been utilized already, so we.
Yes, it has.
It's going good. So, all right, GIS contract.
So since 2022, when we switched engineering companies from WSB to SEH, we had been operating under SEH's GIS platform. We hold the license for what's called Esri, which is an open-based platform of which, again, we have the license. But we've had limited interaction with the SEH GIS department. And we had WSB come in and do a demo for us and to meet with all of our public works department. WSB had really been the one that built the public works side of our platform before. And I think that generally there's just a great comfort level with WSB because of the relationship that the Public Works Department in particular has with Brian Pittman, who is with WSB. So we would also looked at the needs, especially as we move out into the field regularly using GIS, which is something that we really hope to do in '24. So that all the public works departments become very comfortable with using that platform. So I would like to see us go, and I should say that the community development department also uses GIS as well as the building permit tech significantly. The community development department is probably in the administrative office uses it more than anything. They switch between what we have now and Stearns County. And so they were also part of the demonstration as well, so they could see. But this is really largely driven by what we can do on the public works side, because everything else is very similar. So that's kind of where we're at. The first year cost would be $8,000. That includes $3,600 for a yearly hosting cost and $4,400 to turn the app back on, make the updates, etc. And then it would be $3,600 annually for hosting. Our Esri license is always $1,221 a year and includes both a desktop and mobile application. These costs would be split between the general fund and PUC. The PUC at their regular meeting did approve a switch back to WSB. So I'm recommending that we contract with them to provide those services.
so right now we're using SEH's.
We
Service.
are just
Is-
primarily in more the community development world, not really in the public works world.
Okay. Is there a cost to that right now?
Yep.
Okay, do we have that cost? It's just nice to know if we're gonna switch. And if
So
it's
the way
like
that it works with
comparable or
SEH is it's dependent, we built the whole system, and Dave can help me out. We built the whole system, so there was a big upfront cost to do the upfront, and now it's just more of it's not even, I don't even know if it's a maintenance cost. When we call Lauren or somebody, they just help us when we need them. So it's an hourly breakdown. But we also don't have the public works side of
Okay.
it, really.
And as far as, we talk about building the system, is that like data entry and like we change a street or we change a sewer?
So
that's
what it
inputting-
really is that the guy,
The
they have
CAD
iPads
drawings.
in all the public works departments, and we have what's called a trouble. So it's like when they go out to do a locate right now,
Yeah,
not sometimes.
Yeah.
The locates aren't where they say they are
Right.
on the map. So if they have that trouble with them, what they're able to do is hone in on that GPS location with that trouble. And then with the platform that we have, they can go right into that map
so
and
we
locate
can
it.
change the data,
Correct.
like for locates and stuff ourselves. We don't have to get
Correct.
WSB or SCH
Correct.
involved.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we also have, like, I'm sure we have any new sewer lines, that's all inputted in our GIS, how deep they are.
Yep, and
GIS
SCH
locations.
has a lot of that information already.
Right,
I don't know if the as-bills for the RDB project are in there or not. I think we just got those.
right.
It's really more, again, it's just really more on the public works side. WSB has just developed a
Better public works side.
public, yeah, just more, the guys are, they're more comfortable.
So
They
do you
started
feel-
with WSB.
Yeah, do you feel this is, I mean, I guess what I'm wondering is there, are we gonna run into higher costs if we do things like a big project or something? Then whoever our engineer is now, we have to get a hold of WSB to put all the new information in to do.
So I think
data
the
entry,
initial
right?
cost will be what they quoted, what Brian quoted, because he is the one who built our system to begin with.
Right,
That 8,000 is probably more on the high end. So I think once it happens, I don't see us having anything other than the hosting cost, because the system would be set up that our guys in the field will use it. The challenge, I guess I'll put it out there, the challenge is for us then, if we're gonna pay this money, that we use the system. So it's a matter of, a big part of this is training. So Brian would come and work one-on-one with all the departments to get the training done.
okay.
Yep.
And as far as, okay, so we got a new street, obviously, Railroad West going in, and there's all new utilities going in there. How does that get into the GIS system then?
So typically, that would go into, after a project is done, you get the as-built, and that
Yeah.
goes into your GIS system. But if we had, and we're utilizing the platform, so as the electric department was running their stuff down, and they could actually mark those points as they were going, like in
Okay.
real time.
All right, so it's not a lot to import like a new street into the GIS system, okay.
That part isn't it.
So where it
It's
gets
more
hosted
us
is not
using
a real
it.
big deal is what I'm trying to get at. It's because whatever engineering firm, I don't want to have, also we have a different engineering firm. Sorry, Dave, but, I'm going to throw you under the bus. If we go with somebody else other than SCH someday and they do something, their as-builts are importable into this system,
I think
correct?
they all are,
Or
yeah.
would be, because they're pretty much all standardized. Is that right?
So I'll give you a little overview of how it works either way.
Right.
So whether or not it's my guys putting it into the city system, or WSB's people putting it into their system, somebody is taking the line work from my CAD people and putting it into a system, whoever hosts that system.
It doesn't matter. It's all,
Yeah, it's the same process.
okay,
So the difference is, instead of the city owning the system, it's a proprietary system that's owned by WSB.
Yep.
So right now, the city owns the master platform, the license. It won't be that way in the future.
okay.
We will own the
You
license.
own the data.
The data, yep,
Yes, you own the data,
yep.
but not proprietary viewer and stuff.
Oh, because of what WSB has created, yeah. That's, I think, why they charge what they charge, is because they've created that public works platform, yeah.
Is it hosted here right now on our servers?
Somewhere in the cloud, it's an Azure platform.
I don't know, it's up there
Okay.
somewhere,
Yeah, it's a magic spot.
like everything else. So anyway, that's,
And, I don't know. We could table it till next month, just to gather a little more information on it, just to make sure that if we go with this, that there's no snafus that we're gonna run into down the line, correct?
so what, certainly we absolutely can, just what sort of information would you be looking for? Just so I know to make sure that if we table it, I provide you with the correct information next time.
Well, that's kind of part of, kind of gotta think about this a little bit more, because it's not necessarily a small change. I mean, it feels like a small change because it's just moving some data over to another hosting services.
But also,
Site.
the utilities did vote for it. And-
Public utilities did vote
and
for it,
employees
and the
were
public employees were all part of
100%
it.
wanting this,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
so you know.
Gary,
Right, but
Gary, what's your, can I
when
ask
we
you real
switched
quick?
over to SCH, wasn't this a big factor that WSB charged us to do any GIS and SCH included it in on their,
No, they both
Was
charge,
it?
and we still paid the licensing. It's more on the engineering side that there was probably a difference.
okay.
Yep.
I'm fine with however, I remember this being a topic at one time.
We had as part of when they did the proposal, when SEH came through and they did a RFP and they came and presented, we asked them to include GIS as one of the components of what they presented on. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what that cost to get it.
So we got, and I don't know, I'd have to grab it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know, it was fairly expensive. If we go back the other way now, we go to WSB and then we go, you know what? Somebody else got a service now that we like. We go back the other way. Are we gonna run into the same cost issue? You
I
know-
guess-
You know what I mean? We're
Yep.
kinda got away from that
Yep,
now.
I would recommend that if we did go this route, that you would actually sign a bit of a longer-term contract with WSB, so you know what that, and have them freeze that cost for a certain number of years.
Yeah. And what are the, I mean, I guess, are there any other potential costs of going with WSB?
I think there's always a chance that there's potential costs. I think in engineering, it's not a perfect science like many things, and so even when we bid a project and we go out in the field, we don't necessarily know, but I have a lot of confidence that the quote that we received from Brian is a very good quote, because again, Brian is the one who started us out in this system.
Right.
Out of respect, I really do hate tabling stuff. We do get our agendas a whole week in advance. If we have these questions, why don't we ask them so we do have them for the
There
meeting?
are a lot of things on an agenda. If
Yeah.
we get-
I know,
City
that's why
employees have maybe
we're
been
giving them a
talking
week.
about this for 3 months.
Yeah.
And they're working 8 hours a day about on their topics. So I don't like to just ask questions behind the scene all the time. I like to come here and ask questions.
I know,
so
but
that
if they
everybody
can't.
knows.
Yep, and that's where you can
Because
ask
if-
the question, and then they can answer the question that you have, instead of.
But I don't have to ask a question if I've got all my questions answered. Then we're just sitting here rubber stamping everything and
No,
nobody
no,
thinks we do anything.
Yeah, I disagree, because I ask the questions and I get an answer from them, then, you're answering. To me, it does feel that we're not doing the job what the staff did this research. They did everything that we had, and if there's questions, ask them. They can
Right.
get the questions answered for you, so when you ask the question, then they can answer it publicly, which the citizens will know what's going on
Right.
too. So, and that's where I put my trust in staff, because they do work here 8 to 10 hours a day, and some of them 12, 14 hours a day. So I do trust our staff is doing it, so. And respectfully, that's just my opinion about
Yeah,
cabling
and
stuff.
I hope you're not implying that I don't trust our staff.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm
Okay.
just saying, I said I trust them. So I'll leave it at that. So
Okay.
you guys decide. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Is there any holdup if this is tabled? Like, I mean, is some stuff we have that?
No, I mean, there's really no. I mean, again, our community development department right now goes between Stearns and our existing GIS, and they're, you can ask Sheila, but they have a comfort level. Stearns County's maps are good and everything else, so it's really more on the public works side, and we can hold it off for another month. I'm not opposed to doing that, because certainly it's just a matter of training public works. It's a matter of the training side of it, and now is kind of a good time to do that, although it's a little hard to be out in the field, but just to get them started, because, but I'm more than happy to table it if that's what you guys would like. I just want to make sure then that I'm providing you with the correct information.
I don't really have a problem either way. I was just making sure that if you did table it and it holds up like a training or something, or if no harm's done by,
Brian can come out anytime and train.
is that what the plan is like the next month?
We'd like to have Brian come out in the next month, yep. Month or
And to
two.
me, it sounds like it's just they want to be able to work with, it's a good working, healthy situation.
Yeah, and it wasn't, we had a good working relationship with SCH too. This is just, again, it's just a little bit different program. It's you know, it's just something that I think from a public works standpoint, WSB has just kind of done more on their side, so.
Where are we gonna be at if we table it?
Is this split between Public Works?
Yeah, so it's split between PUC and the city. Yep. You table it, you can table it.
Well, no, I
We're-
mean, like, Tony, if we table it and you got some of those questions answered, does that hinder your kind of vote either way, or is it really just more for knowledge? Like,
It's more just comfort level of switching services again, because we just went through this 3 years ago. And now we're going back to WSB, you know, we paid decent money to get out of WSB, and now we want to go back to WSB, so,
For this component, correct, yeah.
for this component, right? And I can't remember how much it cost before, but I just know it was, we still own the data, we own the license. If we need to pull it out, what does that cost? Do we know that answer?
I don't think it costs anything, because it didn't cost the other way, so,
No, there's no cost.
There's no
The
cost.
data doesn't really move since the city owns it.
Yeah.
Right.
They pull it in.
yeah.
I would say that we had about the same transition costs that you're seeing here from WSB to the SEH stuff.
Oh.
And you're not losing anything. Every time you make a change, honestly, you gain more information that gets added. It's kind of
Right.
a cumulative thing, so yes, there are some transition costs, but most of it's just an addition cost that you're seeing as much as anything.
Okay,
So I don't think you're losing as much as you might say. I'm not trying to push you to away
Right.
from us, but I just want to answer your questions.
yeah. Okay. I guess it's, if it's gonna make the one side better, easier to work with, go through with it.
Make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
All right,
Second.
It's coming full circle, isn't it?
okay, first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Police reserve hired. Did you need to say anything, Craig, or? Yeah. Basically, another Walvogel wants to come to work for us, right? Yes, and he's a good man. I know him a little bit.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Police Department policy.
Related to the policies that are in front of you for review and to add to our manual, the state has mandated certain policies to be added, as well as they're requiring the mandated policies under the state to be posted either on the city website, or if there's not one available, to be posted on the premises of a police department. So some of these policies we didn't necessarily believe we needed, but they are required. The First Amendment activity policy, it's related to protesting, those sorts of things. We felt as though we didn't need to have a policy because we felt as though people's rights were being exercised appropriately, but apparently the state says we should. The extreme risk protection order policy, that is new language and new laws within the state. And that one we have something in practice already related to domestic violence and surrendering weapons, but this is a new component the court order to put in place and that sort of thing. So we did have to establish a policy on that. So in theory, we have a practice that already goes into place, but they want an exact policy in place so that they have something to look at as opposed to believing we're doing things correctly. So we're just doing it as the state is asking us, which will then update our policy manual, and we'll get the current version to all of our officers to review and sign off on. And then post it to our city website.
Right. Minnesota nanny state, gotta love it.
So look for a motion to approve all those.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
If I could just say
Sure.
something, because I kind of wanted to talk about the
No, yeah, you
the
can.
whatever. But anyways, so because everybody should be aware of it, the extreme risk protection order. That is, for somebody that is considered suicidal or a danger to others or themselves, that the court can impose, you can lobby the court. I think it has to be either the chief of police a family member or someone that you're living with. Has to lobby the court, and they can give you an order to basically take their guns from them. And then they are stored here at the Melrose Police Department, if it's local, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it would be probably the county if it's out of Melrose, I would assume. And then there's like a 14-day hold or up to a year hold, I think, and then it's revisited. Anyway, it's a very controversial topic because, you know, Minnesota's obviously one of the, more of the gun control. There's a lot of infighting about gun control and what is gun control, what should we have, what shouldn't we have. And this was, the only thing that got passed was basically the extreme risk protection order legislation. So I was happy that's the only thing they got passed. They call it a red flag law. So, I mean, it could be abused. Obviously, somebody could say, yeah, I think Brian's a hazard to himself. I think we should lobby the court, get all his guns taken away. But I don't know if you have guns or not. But anyway, I just thought everybody should know that. If they're wondering what that was, that's what that was. So I think, did I kind of summarize that
Yeah, I
correctly?
think that covers talking points anyway.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
You know, and I did call the chief this week, just asked him if he had any concerns about it, because, yeah, like you said, if you get some people that are sort of extreme, you know, do you feel like there's gonna be any violence towards the police department? Will they try to break in? You know, do you worry about that? And he feels very confident that nothing's gonna happen, so, you know, I understand. I just wanted to make sure that we would keep our police department safe, you know, if we kept these weapons in Melrose, and he felt very confident about the people in the area, so, so yeah, that's why I voted for it. So,
I don't think we had a choice, honestly.
yeah,
It was, man, state
it was
law now,
forced onto
so.
us. Yeah, I agree. So there was a first and a second. Everybody, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay,
Sorry. Motion is carried.
should be somebody out there that votes no once in a while, right?
I respect that, so. The council to give consideration to adopt the revised police office assistant job description. Is there any questions from anybody?
No.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Make that motion?
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Reception building permit technician job description. Did anybody have any questions with that? All right, can I get a motion to approve?
so move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Supplemental letter of agreement for replatting of Melrose I-94 Industrial Park.
Yeah, I can tag team this one with Dave. There's interest in a business about purchasing a lot in the industrial park. If they do so, it will require replatting. So we have asked SEH to provide a supplemental letter agreement on what the costs would be for that replat. So the action item tonight would be to consider conditionally authorizing the replat subject to an executed purchase agreement. That purchase agreement would come before the council for authorization because the land in the industrial park is owned by the city. So you will see that purchase agreement before that would be executed, but this is the discussing of the replat, which would be necessary for that because it doesn't have a good legal description because the road needs to be paved over.
Is there any questions or concerns? Can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Compensation clarification study.
So at a special joint meeting with the council and the PUC, presentations were provided by ABDU and DDR for a compensation and classification study. That was discussed, but there was not action taken at the time. It was asked to be brought back to the council for further consideration. One of the things that we did do is we removed the job description portion of that. We feel that that is something that we can deal with in-house, and we feel like we've done a good job of updating our job descriptions. So taking that cost out of there, we would be looking at ABDU with about $13,000 with a yearly update, or $1,900 for a formal position reclassification policy, and DDR would be $15,000 with an update yearly that is negotiable. Please, as I said, they don't include the job descriptions that we currently have. I know that this is something that we've gone back and forth with. We did discuss this at the PUC meeting. I know it's not something that, there's kind of two sides to it. You know, you do a comp and class study and then, you know, are some people gonna get paid more, you know, that type of thing. But there's also the pay equity compliance component to it. So I had asked about that because Councilmember Clausen had asked me to look into what would it cost just to do a pay equity compliance, and that in and of itself would not be that expensive, but the question then becomes, what do you use? So do we use the old system that we had in place, which was from 2011? It was called like a hay classification. Has that changed? But keep in mind that pay equity is only one part of designing and revising the compensation program. The other components include defining the market which the city draws their talent from. I think it's important to define where the city would like to position its compensation program relative to the market. Where do you want to be in terms of retaining and recruiting employees? Which means that with a compensation classification study, it will help you decide where you want to be and what you'd like to pay for. Is there room within that to say, hey, maybe we pay people, but then there's other things, if they get this license or if they get this certification, they may get, you know, a bump in pay based on that. How are these pay increases delivered is also another part of that. So I think the compensation strategy is equally as important to anything, as much as the pay equity. And while I know it's always, you know, okay, so this position we find out is more, this it stays the same. It's always a little tough to look at that, but we have to start someplace. And this, even if the council doesn't do anything beyond that, I think it's important that we take the effort to go through the marketing part of it. So the PUC did approve it at their last meeting, just so you're aware of that.
And Eric Singer was actually very much pushing forward for the first part of this. He wanted that to be said.
So we don't know what the job descriptions are though. So when they come back and they say.
We have the job descriptions. Our job descriptions
Our
are,
job descriptions,
are
but like if they go
updated.
and base off of another city,
so this is where it gets a little tough. So we have our job descriptions, correct? And our job descriptions are gonna be very similar to other communities, but they're not gonna be word for word the same. You're not gonna find a community out there that has the exact, unless they
Right.
just cut and paste. Like a community that has 3 employees might have cut and pasted from a Melrose to figure out their job description. It's kind of like, you know, you have all the homes in a development and they're all, let's say they're all the same homes, well, inside they're gonna be a little bit different. We're not gonna match it, but we're gonna get as close as we possibly can to what those job descriptions are.
right? But I'm saying like if we hire one of these, do we get to see them? What the
And you
other
guys did-
job descriptions are?
That they're
I
comparing
know they're
to.
close, but if they're not close,
Well,
if there's
I
two
don't
other
think we should,
things
I think
or-
we should throw them out if they're not close. I mean, I think the whole point.
no, but I'm saying if they come back and they say, well, your guys' PUC should make $4 more an hour, but the other people that they're comparing it to have 2 more things underneath their description, then
Right.
I'm saying,
Yep.
if that's how close it gets, that,
I think that we certainly, you know, one of the things I would recommend is that you allow me the opportunity to negotiate with either one of the firms, and just have a not exceed cost in there. And I can bring back to them what the concerns are and what you guys would like to have done. And then we'll just make sure, if you guys want to have a working session with whoever we hire, if you guys want them to come in on February 6th and kind of you can express all your concerns and your comments to them at that time, I'm certain that they would be willing to do that, because I do believe both of them in their proposals included a couple meetings. So that would be the time you can ask that question, and also we can just make sure that you guys are comfortable with the data that they're going to be proceeding with. So
Right.
that you guys have a comfort level with that.
And you are 100% right. Melrose is such a strange community with the way our utilities is built, our infrastructure. You know, it's hard to find a city because you can't compare us to Sauk Center because of our wastewater plant or our utilities could be, you know, so yeah, there's a big difference.
But I was just wondering, when they
That's a
come to the
concern.
table, will they give us the ranges? And then can they give us the, okay, we
Oh, absolutely, they'll
we
tell you.
compared with this, and this is what the
Yep.
job description was of that place.
Yep, absolutely.
And then
Yep.
at least we would know.
That's public information too.
That's public information.
So that, I think this happened last time.
Right, but I'm
We did a
just-
compensation classification and study or whatever, and came back, and some people were getting paid too much, and some people weren't getting paid enough. And it created some issues, because now you have this document that says, Craig, you're not getting paid enough, but your guys under you are getting paid too much, type of thing, you know? So this is this can be a very dangerous
It can.
thing to do. And the way I look at it is, well, you could destroy morale, for one thing, doing this thing. And we talk about this being, oh, it's a long-term retention thing because we know how we have to compensate our employees. Well, you could kind of shoot yourself in the foot with it also. We have a system that we can get the pay equity compliance report to the state. Pay equity, for everybody that doesn't know that, you have to make sure that you're paying females as well as males.
Or like, or
Right,
similar.
or similar, or whatever, so that
Based on-
you're not discriminating based
Yeah.
on female versus male. But that's mandated by the states, we have to do that as a public municipality, whatever. We do have a system we can accomplish that with, that's the only thing that's mandated that we have to do. And we can do that with what we have in-house today. So that would be my vote, just knowing what we went through last time with the compensation study we did last time. I don't know that I don't know that pay is always the driver of people leaving. It's not always the thing that makes people leave. We have great benefits beyond any public company that's out there. Our benefits are next to none. Is it full health care?
Right now it is.
We have, I mean, all public employers are 13 holidays a year, I think. Lots of vacation, good retirement, pension. You know, the dollar pay, as long as somebody comes in going, that's adequate, the benefits are great. So
But that will also show on it too with,
maybe, it might.
no,
you know.
it has to, right?
They
Because it is
put a
public
dollar, they
information.
put a dollar figure on the benefits that we have as part of the compensation package, okay. And, I mean, I don't know that we have I don't know, do we have a turnover issue? Yeah, we do, but it's not always the pay, is what I'm saying.
But how do we know that?
Well, for one thing, we got retirements,
Right.
you know? 3 of them out of the last whatever were.
I had the same.
But I don't know.
I did have the same concern of it could be dangerous, but
yeah.
like I said, I was talking to Clean, and if we have an old study from 2011, I mean, we gotta get it updated at some point. It's gonna cost money.
Well, do we
I
have
just
to?
wanna make sure that we know where I get your pay equity, but that really doesn't even, it's not even comparison to what this is gonna show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, no, right, and as
you're
far
just
as like,
comparing different
Right.
stuff.
Right.
That's totally different, I think, than what this study's gonna show us.
right.
And
I don't know, do private companies do compensation studies?
That's what these guys are?
No, I mean, like, some other company hired these guys, I don't know that, I don't know, I think public,
I think you will find that you'll probably see more of it because it's the employees, the hirees market in the labor field right now. And they want to know where they're standing, how do we keep
Right.
As an organization and, you know, what's happening out there in the market and how do we address that? I think is, everybody's looking at that.
Well, right, and that's what we're up against. I mean, it's not unique to us, the problem. It's not,
You know, how do we stack up?
there's a lack of people out there that are looking for jobs, let's put it that way. So, I don't know that a compensation study is gonna fix that, if that makes sense. If you can't find somebody for the utilities, head of the utilities department, maybe that's just, maybe just gotta increase the wage a little bit.
But how do you know?
Look
Maybe
at
our
that-
wages,
look at
maybe our
that
wages high and our
specific-
benefits are crap.
Well, I know our benefits are decent.
You may think your benefits are decent, but you know what I'm
I
saying?
think our benefits are pretty darn
I'm-
good, just like most other,
Right, but
yeah.
Well, I guess, if I may, Mr. Mayor, comment just a couple things. One is you had talked about the morale, but I look at the other side of it. So right now, the challenge is, you know, the perception, a little bit of the perception is we aren't as competitive as we should be in terms of some of our departments. And so what do you want to do? Where do you value your employees from a retention and recruitment standpoint? And then please keep in mind that we have 2 union contracts that we're going to be negotiating in '24. And so we need to be able to have current data. We certainly could go and just use the league stuff, but then the problem that you're going to run into is the unions could counter and say, you use data based on your preferences versus having sort of that neutral third party out there who really did a study, you know? That's the other side of it, I would say you could look at, but there is no, the unfortunate thing is, Scott's right and you guys are right. I mean, everyone is competing for employees. There's a huge shortage and it's really difficult. I don't necessarily think there's a great answer out there, but I also believe that we at least need to know where we stand in the marketplace.
Right. I am, I just would, I think we should, Administrator Winter is requesting that the council approve moving forward with the compensation clarification study to lower the ability to negotiate with the consultants to ensure that the study meets expectations and to deliver the first quarter of 2024. Costs will not exceed over 18,000. Costs be split between the PUC and the city. Can I get a motion to approve or deny?
so we're not approving which company? Just not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
Oh,
Which one? DDR?
DDA.
DDA, I
I
don't see
see
that
that
one.
one.
David Drawn Associates.
David Drawn.
Do we do this?
They recommended that DDA be the
Yeah.
one, that there would be their preference.
Do
Oh.
we do this every so many years, Colleen? Like,
Yep, typically they last for about 10. I would say that, given the way the marketplace is right now, you're probably gonna wanna do one every 3 to 5 years. But the appeal is, you could just have them update for a smaller cost. You could just have them go out and do 1/3 of your, you know, every year type of thing. So you wouldn't be looking at a huge cost every 10 years. Yeah, you just go in once a year and have them kinda, you know, look at your stuff and see if you're still on par.
Right.
I'm in favor of it in the sense that it's been 12 years, but I definitely agree with Tony's points of, but I mean, it is kind of a 50-50, like some are gonna be upset and some are gonna be happy, so I don't know how long you let it go without getting it done to update it either, you know?
Well, the other thing is some of the, I mean, we've sat through pay equity. I mean, how do we really know? I mean, this might be a better
Yeah,
thing
well-
that when it comes to pay equity, we're like, yeah.
As far as the
but-
pay equity, I mean, to me, if you take a poll of our employees here, and if they all say that they feel they're not being discriminated against, that should be satisfactory,
Right.
in my opinion, but the state says otherwise.
Right, that's not how the point
Correct?
system work. Yep, that is correct. The state of Minnesota has a system that
Sheila,
they
are you being
follow.
discriminated against? No, not to put you on the spot, sorry.
All right. I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a
for-
motion.
For DDR, same as the PUC?
DDA?
DDA,
DDA, okay. Brown and Associates, you're right, sorry.
yes.
Sorry.
Same thing.
DDA. All right, you made a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay,
Okay, motion carried.
so it's got one.
So is there any new business at all, or?
The Melrose City
Thanks for
Council will
coming.
host the German students on Wednesday, February 15th at 5:15 at the Melrose City Center. The Melrose City Council, February 15th regular meeting, will be held at the Melrose Fire and Ambulance Station. The meeting with the area township and city officials will immediately follow that regular meeting that evening. So you have to, it's going to be a little bit chaotic that night, but we start with the German students here, and then from here we move over to the fire hall for our regular meeting on February 15th. And then,
Yep, and we've done that how many times already before, so it
Yeah.
should be no big deal. Okay, was there,
yeah, and then Ryan's got some cool, fun, good news for us.
And if you remember, back in September, you had approved switching our ambulance billing providers. So ever since then, I've been working diligently with our new provider to update all of our credentialing with Medicare, Medicaid, all the insurance providers and things like that. And they were able to get billings from October through to date all done and up with. But I was really hoping to kind of walk you through all the cool reports and features that they're able to do, but usually anywhere I click on here, it brings up HIPAA protected information. But I just wanted to kind of show you their layout on their screen. Gives you live time updates when we get payments. These are updated daily, and I can pull all the reports instead of having to request and wait like I had to with the old system. And then also, when patients receive bills in the mail, it'll give them this website where they can just punch in their name, dates of service, and the run number. So you'll be able to get lifetime updates on where your bill is at and things like that. So it's a lot more the times on our old system used to be. I was pretty excited about it, but because of HIPAA, I can't show you much more. That's all we got on that front.
Yeah, and I really would like to acknowledge all the hard work that the ambulance department, along with Doris and Ryan, did to get this up and running. It was very, they really put in the time and effort to get this done, and I think we're gonna see our patients, the ambulance patients are the ones who are really gonna see the benefits of this. They're gonna get timely bills, they're gonna get insurance correct, all that, so with, I think this was a very good move to this company, so.
all right. Was there anything about okay, we're good with that. Informational items, Public Utility Commission meeting minutes. Is there any questions about that? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Meeting adjourned.